Hello, and welcome to another episode of Pull Up 3. I am Paragon Don,
I'm Jamae.
I'm Detroit.
I'm Tony
and
East.
we
And I
actually
messed it up.
It's
Wait, I
okay.
thought I was
It's
going after
okay.
Jay.
It's
no.
okay.
It's
You are
fine.
going.
It's fine.
I was going to introduce you, and then you're gonna
After
say
you're introducing
yes,
me after Jay. I see. I see.
yes.
Yeah.
So
It's
I am
okay. It's cool.
what
it's
a great
perfectly
start.
fine.
What a great start. I'm so sorry.
Thank you very much, Tony East from the Nine. We appreciate you very much for being here. We're very glad you're here. Um, Today we're going to be talking about the Indiana Fever's all around season. Lord knows it had its ups and downs. Um, they were obviously minutes away from playing in the finals. They've had players quit on them, so many injuries and things. It was a lot, but in my personal opinion, it was a successful season, all things considered. But yeah, I guess if you would like to start us off.
Well, I agree with that it was successful, which is really interesting because there was such high expectations for them going into the year, and I thought they were too high. I was like, yeah, they're gonna be pretty good, right? They have three star level players. Bonner's still awesome, but I don't think they're in this Aces Liberty. And this is what I thought before the season, to be clear. This Aces Liberty Lynx tier. And then they weren't even when they were at their best. But then what they proved by the end is when Stephanie White gets more than like 5 games with the same lineup to cook for a little bit, she can make pretty much any group work. But they never had that. They just kept someone would leave, someone got hurt, someone else got hurt, someone new came in the whole season. And so even though it was not the team they expected, when they had a month and a half with the same team, they were really good. And so I think if they had their fully healthy team, they actually could have made more noise than I actually thought. And it was such a crazy year. It's so hard to actually break down the basketball because of all of it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like my expectations were always like just make the playoffs, win at least a playoff game, and that'll be okay with me. I was not like, I feel like we have the makings of a contender, but like this was not the year for that. Even pre-hand, before everything happened, I was like, we're not there yet, but like we have, it's coming. It's something's happening here. And so to see what it ultimately became, I feel like I've been saying all year that I'm like really proud of this group because like it really could have went a lot worse. Like you pretty much exceeded your previous year record um with mostly a new roster. Like, yeah, your stars are the same, but all of the margin pieces are pretty much different. And um, that can be really difficult to deal with. And then on top of that, everything else that happened this season, I don't know, I call it a win is a win.
It was. It was. And you were like, I think your expectations are for anyone who watched the team for more than the last 2 years completely reasonable, right? They were awful like for a long time. And then they finally like snuck into the playoffs last year. Everybody thought they might do something. And they didn't. They went to Connecticut and got completely humiliated in the first game and then lost the second game and it was over, right? Like they just haven't tasted any sort of success. So even if they felt really good about their team, we hadn't seen it. We've never seen them do it, or had never seen them do it, right? And so to win around, I mean, Ryan Howard tripping all over her feet for the last 2 minutes of that dream game three really helped them, but um, to win around was already impressive. So the season they had was yeah, especially given like their close. Odyssey Sims wasn't on their team on August 1st. Like none of the half their roster from the playoffs wasn't on their team on August 1st. So it was all just wild. And yes, again, if you saw the early 2020s fever, I think your expectations were very reasonable. But now they've tasted it and know what it takes to do even better. So that also helps.
I think the ironic part about the injuries and the departures and things of that nature, um, it made them really hard to game plan for on a game to game basis. Obviously, I don't think they're a better team as what their end product was, but I think in a sense they were almost a little more dangerous. And I just think that's kind of what it is when you play. I don't like it, whether it be NBA, WNBA, playing injured teams is scary because it's like you're playing a team with nothing to lose and everything to gain. And so all the pressure is on you to do what you're supposed to do. The Aces were supposed to win. The Dream were supposed to win. And the Fever are playing with house money. So you got players on, hardship contracts and um just like people who were been with the team for less than a month trying to figure things out along the way. And it's like, well, if these people are still trying to figure out the um what the playbook is, y'all definitely don't know what the playbook is for them. So it's like I don't know on a game to game basis how I'm supposed to guard this. Because I don't have any film from the season to look on. Like obviously Caitlyn is amazing, and I'm sure she would have helped in so many ways if she would have played. But if she would have played the whole season, you would have had game film from June to be able to say, okay, this is the actions they run in this type of time. But like because Odyssey had only been there, it wasn't there August 1st. It's like I don't know what she does in this moment with this team with Aaliyah and how they run this. We're all learning this on the fly because they're learning this on the fly. So I think it obviously did not help that they were hurt, but it definitely had its benefits in a way. Um, but yeah, I did not have fun watching that series as a Aces fan. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. But as a basketball fan, it was fantastic. I look forward to an Aaliyah Asia matchup for the last like month when I knew it was a possibility, and it delivered in many ways.
Well, there's two ways to know you're right. One was, you know how I knew people, even people in the league, did not have any expectations for the Fever. We all saw it. The Aces sneak out that game over the Storm in Game 3, and they bring Asia to the mic for the post game presser, and they ask her, Asia, what do you think about playing the Fever? And she goes, what? She doesn't say anything, but you can see in her face, she's like, wait, the Fever won? They beat the Dream? Like, nobody thought they were even going to do that because of who they had and who was available. And then you have to prep for not only, I think you're right, first of all, that a lot of times they're playing teams that hadn't played that version of the Fever or didn't realize what some of these players could do. It's very hard to scout for the group that they had, but a lot of their players who had the ball a lot because of the hardships, Shea Petty, Odyssey Sims, Kelsey Mitchell obviously was healthy all season, but had the ball a lot for that team, are very like zippy, zany, unpredictable players in general, right? So even if you scout what you think they're going to do, they are very creative and can do something else. And in the case of Petty and Sims, pretty inconsistent. Odyssey Sims' best games are incredible. Like won the Fever many games, but also had a lot of 1 for 8. Can't really do a whole lot kind of games. Shea Petty either made all of her threes or missed all of her threes. It felt like in every game with no in between. So that also is kind of hard to plan for when it's like you kind of have to figure out 5 to 10 minutes into the game what the threats actually are in that particular game. And the Fever did a good job of using the right threats to their advantage to get an overtime period away from the finals.
Yeah,
And
a
to
lot
that
of that
point, like,
is
oh, go ahead, Jay.
no, I was just gonna say a lot of that is a credit to a resilient roster that was like able to kind of
Yeah.
make things happen on the fly. A lot of credit to Stephanie White too for being able to draw up game plans and decide what matchups we're trying to attack based on who we're playing. It's like if we're playing, like depending on who we're playing, who do we need to run the offense through? Like, of course, Kelsey Mitchell was there all year. Like you said, she was all W first team player. She exceeded expectations that anyone could have had for her going into the season. But in addition to that, they were able to find what other mismatches can we look to attack against each opponent.
Thanks
I
for your
agree. Jamae, did you
your
have something to add before I go on that?
Yeah. Oh, I was just gonna say, like, even to the like knowing who the game plan for. It was even the one of the funny things about Odyssey too was just like sometimes in the beginning of the game it was like, girl, give us nothing. But the fourth quarter, magically, like
Yeah.
suddenly she knows like it's winning time. And I felt like that, I mean, not even just Odyssey, that Shay had a little bit of that, Aaliyah had a lot of that throughout the year. So just a lot of people like being able to rise to the occasion, like when that moment matters. And like you say, you can't game plan for that. You don't know what you know, you don't know who's gonna do what they're gonna do. And I did want to say too, like a lot of credit to Stephanie White. I will say I was not a believer I ain't gonna say I wasn't a believer, but I wasn't a believer. And I was like, I really need her to show me what she's able to do with this team. And I think she has for sure exceeded the expectations that I had for her, given what we've done. And it was so funny because like mid-year, somebody said, "Oh, Stephanie White is in Coach of the Year contention. Like that's a joke." And I'm like, "You mean to tell me a lady with her star player out is 500 and that's not Coach of the Year material? Like y'all, none of you expected her to be here. Y'all didn't think that this roster had anything to give, and yet they're like now they're a 6 seed. You know what I mean? Like they won the Commissioner's Cup." And like and a huge win at that. Like not even like, oh, we won by the skin of our teeth. Like you blew out the team that was supposed to be they were the top of the league the entire year. The team who was supposed to be the WNBA champions. And like, I don't know, you have to, I know a lot of times when people talk about the FIFA, they just don't like them. So they have to like be negative about how they talk about them. But like, objectively speaking, you do have to give Stephanie White her tens because she did more than what I feel like a lot of coaches would have been able to do with an entirely new roster. Like she's not only is that team walking into a new situation, she's walking into a new situation. I mean, I know it's a coming back story, but like she don't know them. I mean, she had a game plan against them, but again, it's not even that same team that she had to completely game plan against. So I do have to give her a lot of credit for the Fever season.
I have thoughts on both of your points. So to what Jay said that I think is interesting is they lose Caitlin and then Ari and then Sid, like all their nominal point guards from early in the season. And you wonder, and think as we're asking Stephanie White questions about this during the season, like that's the most important position to lose everybody at. Like they're your organizers. They grow chemistry with all their teammates individually at doing different things. And so to your point about how they're always good about like finding the right mismatch to attack or getting the right person involved in the actions, it wasn't just like give it to Aaliyah, she's being guarded by somebody small, and then she'll do something, or give it to Kelsey, she can get by somebody. They did a really good job of like weaving it into their actions of what they were doing anyway, in a way that always gave them like a good shot on every trip, even if it was like not the right player that you want shooting, it was open, or like if it was the right player, that it was something they could make, even if Odyssey's missing a floater, you're happy with her taking it. So that's where I think they did a really good job is they kind of replaced point guard as a position with just like everybody's going to create a little bit. Like if you have an advantage, you're going to use it to open up the floor for somebody else, and our pace is going to be really dang hard to play against and all this stuff. That really was to me their mismatch and how they kind of folded that in. And to your point about Stephanie White, people asked me in I forget what their record was, late July, early August, right? Like what do you think of what Stephanie White's done this year? And some people were asking because they thought that she was kind of been underwhelming. And then I saw what you said about the people talking about Coach of the Year and that being ridiculous. And I just kept being like, I have no idea how good Stephanie White's done because they've had a different team every 3 games. Like, how can I even possibly know what she's trying to do or establish when every game it's someone new is playing a different position? There's a new lineup, someone's gone, someone's here, this player's doing this thing, this player's going to play for their national team. Like it changes so much, and I'm not faulting anyone for that situation being how it is, but it's hard to evaluate what the coach is actually doing for a lot of that because like you have one practice to be like, well, I guess we'll try this with these players, and then maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, and then you have a new team in 7 days. So late in the season, like I said earlier, when they had the same team, their most used starting lineup for 9 regular season games plus the playoffs was the one that closed the season for them. Yeah, when they had time to build something, they were special, right? And that's why I think next year, if they have any reasonable health, they'll be pretty dang good. But I had no idea what to make of Stephanie White for much of the season. That's why I thought both sides, people saying Coach of the Year, I was like, that's a little rich, right? They've been pretty good. I mostly agree with you. Like the Commissioner's Cup one was supremely impressive and all that. But also everybody was like, who was like, should she be fired? Has she been bad? I'm like, what are you even talking about? Like, what have you watched any of their games or like kept up with their season? It all just felt crazy to me.
Yeah, all praises to Stephanie White. Also special shout out to Kelsey Mitchell. She cannot get enough praise. She literally left it all on the court.
Literally.
Like literally left it all on the court. Another special shout out to Aaliyah. Like I know she is someone that people do not like for because she plays a specific way. I will forever have no issue with it because she's just aggressive. I just don't. I she gonna do what she got to do to win games in a non hurt you style way. we like I she might be I have seen players try to hurt somebody. That just don't never seem like her aim. She's just like, you not I'm about to move you off this post. I know that for sure. Or that's all I know. Um so yeah, she played phenomenally. She stepped up phenomenally. Um I think for I guess going forward, and I guess this is a question for you and Jamae. Um, assuming Caitlin comes back healthy next year, bearing it next year, do you think your path to a championship contention is Caitlin being your best player, or is it still gonna be either Kelsey or like Aaliyah, and Caitlin is just like the ultimate, uh, setup girl for them, and she's just kind of like picks her spots better.
I my gut answer is that Caitlyn is their best player only because I thought last winter when they were making all their moves that everything they were doing was kind of designed with her strengths in mind. Not that Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston don't fit Caitlin Clark's strengths, to be clear. Like once Aaliyah and Caitlin got chemistry, they were awesome. But they just every player they signed either could shoot, could guard, or was like the best veteran ever in some cases because they wanted to add experience shooting and defense around Caitlin Clark. And like it made lots of sense to do that. And Kelsey Mitchell is, again, great at a lot of the same things. And so I think that that's what they hoped their vision would be this year. And once they lost Caitlin, they were like, oh, we can play this style around Kelsey and Leah. And it really works. But I think their hope still will be when she's healthy to try that again with a healthier or different team to see if Caitlin can be your best player and lead you that far. And I think they reasonably can say that, yes, that could be the case. I mean, they were so close to making the finals this year, but that's just based off what they did, even though, of course, without her, they had a terrific season and showed that if she's like in that 1A, 1B situation with one of those other two, they could still be fantastic.
I think I don't know. I don't I feel like it almost has to be, well, it just depends. It just depends. And I would really love to see them, the offense be kind of, I was gonna say like more equal, because like when Caitlin was healthy, it was Caitlin. I think Kelsey was still getting more shots than Aaliyah, but Caitlin, Kelsey, Aaliyah, and I think that that works. We've seen that that works, but I think I still think that the thing that pushes them over the edge is Aaliyah being able to pretty much play how we've seen her play this latter half of the year and even into the playoffs, and just having a certain level of aggression and being in the offense. And I just wonder how much of they can actually do that if their touches go back to what it was before. Now, I don't. I think that is a six. The formula could. I think the current formula, and like you said, the team that the way they set the team up is a team that can win games and can go pretty far. I mean, last season, not this season, season before last, like it took them pretty far, and like we didn't even have some of the, I think, the marginally better players that we have now. So I think it's a success for win, like it's a successful situation, and it could win, but I feel like Aaliyah is that key to really make them a championship contender. I am curious though, because I wonder Caitlin sat with Sue Bird on her pod, and one of the things she talked about was just like her shot selection and like being able to get her teammates involved and just kind of getting a better feel for the game. And I'm hopeful that hers being sidelined and actually watching the way her team works and how Kelsey and Aaliyah, like they were kind of able to get the best of them, um, the best of both of them out. Like that she's able to, replace a Aerie and do that same thing. Um, and I think some of that comes with, her taking better shots and knowing when to call her own number. Because she is gonna have the ball in her hand. And I do think having the ball in her hand opens up a lot more for everybody else. But I don't know. I think it will work in the scenario. I think the situation that they have and the scenario that they idealize will work, and I'm sure that's the approach we're gonna take. But I I'm curious. I'm curious to see how it works, and I think there will still. I think there again if Caitlin can show those, like, I don't want to call them minor improvements, but if she can just take what she's seen and like help that apply, I think it'll be better for everybody. And maybe that's taking maybe one or two less threes a game, or um, playing a few less minutes here too, because I don't love the. It was a little bit better this season. Her minutes were a little bit better when she did play. But yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be fine either way, because I do think at least Aaliyah has shown to be malleable to in doing whatever the team needs her to do. But I do think you do need to get the most out of her consistently for at least a playoff run.
So, well, now that we've had this tumultuous, I think is the right word, season, very up and down. It's been a lot of players who have stepped up and shown they can do a lot more than advertised. But unfortunately, we have an expansion draft. I think the last couple episodes we've done, I feel like it was pretty easy kind of to get a six. I feel like with Indiana, it may be a little more difficult. So who do y'all think the six that y'all would keep in an expansion draft?
I've thought of this, but I want someone else to go first this time. I keep going first.
I'm gonna assume that the rules are the same and Natasha Howard
Yeah,
does
we
not
have
need
to do that.
protect it. So my six are Caitlin, Kelsey, Aaliyah, Lexi, KK, Timson. And this is where it gets shaky because like, do we save our hearts? Well, actually, I'm picking Aerie. I'm going with Aerie. Yeah, I'm going with Aerie. Yeah.
So is your assumption there when you said no Tosh is like if you're unrestricted, protecting you is just pointless, right? Because they could just sign somewhere else anyway.
Well, she can't be picked because she has already been cored twice, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's right. So
So
she can't be cored now either. That's right.
yeah, so they can't
That's
take
right.
so she can't be picked up at all. They can't
Ugh.
select. So we get to keep her. I
So
mean,
many rules. There's
hypothetically, we get to keep her.
That's something I'm going to also assume that the rules will be pretty similar to last time, albeit with two teams. But like we have no idea. There could be a new CBA and they're like, yeah, actually you only get to pick 5 players and they can't protect anybody. Like it's all confusing. Okay, locks, Aaliyah, Kelsey, Caitlin. Don't even have to debate it. Easy peasy. Okay, if Howard's out, I already have to think a little harder. Lexi Hall is definitely in. She's a starter. She's good. She's restricted. They want to keep her. She's awesome for what they want to do. And like, if you imagine the perfect player to put next to a lot of stars, it's somebody who doesn't need to dribble that much and plays awesome defense and makes threes. And Lexi Hall's shooting is like all or nothing, but her defense is incredible. So she's a lock to be one of the 6. After that, I think I agree with you on Timpson. I would like to keep young players who show any sort of promise, and Timpson's rebounding was really good. Her finishing was solid, even though there was a lot of you're a rookie, wax and wane. So after that, I run into the same problem you do, where I don't know who the 6th player is. Sophie can shoot it really well, and that fits great. Demiris's defense, I always thought, is underrated, but her shot just evaporated completely this year. Gone. Like, she was a great shooter 2 years ago. They protect her, and it seems like they protected her instead of Temi, and then she couldn't shoot at all this past year. So how do they feel about her? We'll be telling. BT was huge for them after everybody got hurt. Like, do they want her back to keep guarding? I think if I knew how healthy Aaron McDonald was going to be next year, I might also agree with that, because she can also play with Caitlin a little bit, right? So like that gives you 3 guards that really work well. But I think Sophie would be the answer, just because her shooting really fits with it. She made like what 44% of her threes last year, but I could hear either argument for those two. And honestly, if they wanted to keep both of those two and leave Timpson unprotected, I would get it. But I'd imagine Timpson would be a very popular pick for a new expansion team looking for good young players.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just like what y'all said, I think the first 4, I guess you say 3.5 if Lexi is the half, but I Caitlin, Kelsey, Aaliyah, Lexi Hall being the first 4 feels pretty safe. Um, I also think KK Timpson would be protected. Now, the last spot, I feel like they're looking between probably 3 names, because I think whoever you don't protect out of Sophie Cunningham, Aaron McDonald, Demiris Dantes, I feel like the one that you protect, the other 2 are probably getting picked. So
It's a good point.
I'll say Demiris Dantes, just to be different from both of y'all.
And you know what? I love Demiris. Y'all know that's my girl. I love her down. I don't know what happened to her 3-pointer, and I hated it because the girls were dragging her bad. And I was like, I know that she is better than this. I don't know
It
what's going on, but
It's
she
hard
is
when they're
better
getting
than this.
dragged and you can't do a thing. You're like, you're right. She's been better before, but it's just not happening right now.
Like I know I have a vision with her. I've seen it. I've seen her play defense. I've seen her at her peak. It will come back. Like, and I will say, I feel like after they came back from I feel like at the beginning of the season she was good, and then they
Yeah, I
came back
agree.
from Brazil, and I think she left her juice in South America, because I was like, sister, please, I just need you to hit 1 3 right now. We need this so bad.
You know what's funny is them protecting Demiris over Temi was my like tip that they were gonna be all about shooting, right? Because Temi
Mhm.
is good at a lot of things. She was good for Golden State, but Demiris was a better shooter, and had until last year that had been the case for every season of their career. So I was like, okay, they're just gonna try to space it out every play, and they're gonna keep all their shooters on the floor all the time. And they mostly did, and then all their shooters got hurt, and Demiris wasn't a shooter anymore. So like, it's hard to make anything of that. But if she can shoot again, it's somebody they should want to have back, right? So
Yeah.
I like being different there. I don't know what they'll do, but I think any of them, I agree, would be smart or reasonable picks by Toronto or Portland.
Think to be different. I'm going the 4, Airy, and Brianna Turner.
Yeah.
I
I don't think I feel like Brianna Turner is less of a person who would be picked up, so that's why I did not save her. But she did become clutch time. I said this already in like our previous episode, but I was like, Brianna Turner, I'm so sorry for ever like doubting you, girl. I mean, I knew they signed her for her defense. Like, I knew she could do that. And she did it when it mattered most. Like, I'm like, I can't even, be mad at this. Like, I'm really actually glad they kept you, because we needed that really bad.
I'm just my more rationale, I guess, like when I'm thinking of her over KK, really is that I definitely understand that KK is a lot more of an upside choice. Um, I'm also just thinking of, if we're in a win now scenario,
Mhm.
who am I throwing in if I need this?
It's true.
Like I think KK's what should be better in like 2-3 years. But if we're talking about trying to win within the next couple, it's like I need this right now. And like seeing Bree's defense on Asia, I was like, oh, ooh, Lord, that's my my girl was ready. She, my girl was ready. Um,
She
you
like
def
literally saved their season. They had a game in Connecticut. Do you guys remember that? They were down like
Yeah.
20 something at halftime.
Yeah.
They turned to Bree Turner in the second half, and she was so much better than Natasha Howard just in this one game all of a sudden. And they win. And they were like about to be under 500. And they made like that. If they don't win that game, they like barely would make the playoff. It was crazy. And then she was good the rest of the season.
that's this
That
that's that plot armor.
yes. And that you got to protect the plot armor. Also, none of us said Chloe Bibby because she's like unfortunately not as good as any other players at anything besides maybe shooting. But shout out to Chloe Bibby. She shot the crap out of it for a couple games.
You know, I was you made a really good point about Sophie. I'm personally just not a big fan of her because she's be hurting people. Like, it's- like
She is
I
a
feel like she goes
derogatory person. It's
like
okay.
it go beyond being an enforcer. Like, but that shooting 44% from three is crazy. So I went to go look at who led like the 3-point percentage leaders for the season, because obviously everyone is a free agent. So maybe they could be a player who could potentially replace her. Um, so let me actually share my screen. So these are a list of names in theory. These are your leaders in 3-point percentage.
Jonquel Jones being
I did not
nasty
know
business.
Sonia Citron led the league in 3-point percentage.
She won't be called clutch time for no reason.
This was very fun news to me.
And with that volume too.
Yeah.
Yes, this is a lot of shots.
Man, Kennedy Burke would be a great Fever.
That was exactly who I was looking at, actually. I was like, that was the name that stood out to me.
She'd fit very well. Why did I feel like some of these names I like didn't think shot that well this year?
Jonquel just had the issue of you knew she shot exceptionally. It's just like, why are you taking so many threes?
Well, it's funny because they were so good to start the season, and she was a great shooter, but then they all of a sudden like sucked at rebounding out of nowhere. And some of it's just because she's so far from the rim on some of these plays.
I think I'm most shocked by Tip Hayes because, like, when did you become a 40% 3-point shooter? Like, when did you do that?
For real.
Hey, listen, when she was on the Aces, that shit was cash. It is one of the funniest looking shots I've ever seen in my life. But that shit cash.
Look at my rook. Look at Tahina Pow Pow.
15.
Hey,
That's pretty good.
Hey, man. Came back.
Is K-Mac leaving?
We just talked about this in the last episode.
There's no way. There's no way, right? There's no way.
If the Lynx do some drastic shit and she leave, hey.
See, the thing is, I don't see them doing that. And plus, that's a skill set that every team would be looking to add. So I just don't see.
I'm just saying the Fever are like on rookie. We like our core, most of our core is rookie scale. I think we can skim Lexi Hole with a good deal. So they would have the money to just randomly throw at someone. I feel like that's Amber Cox's vibe too. Like, what are you looking for? We can provide. So
that's what they did last summer or winter, excuse me. They were tossing them.
Yeah.
Dang, Bria Hartley. I didn't realize that one either.
37%.
Azure Stevens, Bridget Carlton.
It's crazy that Bridget Carlton is still top 20 because I feel like this might have been like just purely eye test. This felt like one of her worst 3-point shooting seasons in the last like 5 years. She did not like. I was like, girl, can you please hit something?
Wow.
Yeah,
So,
Kennedy.
how many players on this list reasonably intrigue you both?
I mean, if the Fever got Sonia Citron, they'd be a lot better. That's not happening. That's not happening. Many of them, right? I mean,
Look,
Phoebe.
Azure, I've been saying Azure, I will take Azure. Kennedy Burke is a sleeper. I do like that a lot. And honestly, if JC and Kaylee could put their beef aside, I would also accept her. I would also look to accept JC. Yes.
She can guard and shoot. She fits.
Yeah, look, they're meant to be, I think. This is the
Do you think Stevens
crossover
could
we
play with
need.
Boston since you said her name? I think so.
Absolutely.
I think so.
I,
Yeah.
I would say yeah.
That would be very interesting. Because then you get a bunch of height on the floor that you're missing with the way they aligned a lot last year. Howard was obviously very tall, but didn't give them any of the floor spacing elements that you get from
I'm
Stevens. That'd
Azure,
be a good
correct.
fit.
Azure has already been successful with the
Another big. Yeah.
with the well she's been successful with the Erica and Candace. So
Yeah.
I think she'd be fine with the Leah, especially since the Leah is like, I mean, of course you kind of want her to go into more of keep progressing into more of a scoring mindset, but she's far from a selfish player.
Yeah.
And I think that high low with them, or like a pick and pop with them, or anything, was like, that'd be nasty.
You saw with NaLyssa Smith that high low works really well with Aaliyah, but they just sometimes didn't combined have enough shooting to really make each other pop in a way that Azure certainly could.
You know, I'm glad you said that about NaLyssa too, because I feel like a lot of people just pretended she did not play well in the Fever when she
She
was in
did.
Indiana. And I was like, girl, we saw the vision. Like, she was a part of my core four. And then, Rent
Okay,
Christine's, but
I feel bad for NaLyssa because this is such like a deep cut. I don't know if new W fans certainly do not watch Athletes Unlimited, but NaLyssa Smith played Athletes Unlimited and was hooping. She was awesome.
yeah.
She won MVP like 2 different weeks, and so I talked to her about it one time. And I was like, "What's happening? Why are you playing so well?" Not, I wouldn't ask it like that, but you get the gist. And she was like, "I'm playing center," and I'm like, "Okay, you're a center. Like that's good, but you can't be around the rim on the Fever because Aaliyah Boston is on your team." And then look at that. She gets to the aces. Asia can go away from the basket. NaLyssa can always be patrolling the paint on defense. Her shots are right around the basket on offense. And she looks great. She finally got to the system that makes sense for her, right? I don't even think that's a Fever problem. They should have drafted Aaliyah. It's just, it was tough for Liz, who's clearly much better in a role that actually uses her in the right way. And the Aces finally figured that out.
Yeah. I knew she could be like a championship piece. It's unfortunate that it wasn't with my team, but good on the Aces for, seeing the value.
Dude, also the thing I remember so much about Liz is, you probably remember this, before that draft, Lynn
Mhm.
Dunn would go on every interview, every TV station. She's like, "Yeah, we're picking Ryan Howard and NaLyssa Smith." I'm like, "You're saying that now? The draft's in 2 weeks." And now nobody will say anything about the draft. It was so funny.
Hey, look, they knew what they wanted. And look, that season they played like it. They said Kelsey, NaLyssa, y'all got it. Hopefully y'all figure it out. And you know what's so funny? Like I know I had like fever tunnel vision that year because when Ryan Howard won rookie of the year, I was like, and I remember NaLyssa tweeting about it and being like, her usual thing. And I was like kind of upset for her because I'm like, how dare they like pick Ryan Howard? And then I looked at Ryan Howard's numbers. I said, oh, there was very a clear reason why she didn't win. But yeah. I can't believe that. But I'm like, oh, I get it now. Sorry, sister.
I
But yeah.
remember I remember the list should be rookie of the year campaign. And now, of course, as a Dream fan, I wasn't going for that, but I understood, I respected it because I remember people were like, "Oh no, it's just the agenda is on Ryan Howard's side because she was the number one pick," and I was like, "Are we sure?" Like, I get it though, I get it, I respect it, but Liz had a great rookie season, she did, and I'm also happy for her. I'm happy that she was able to find her role and be able to fit in on a championship team and play well.
The real problem for Lyssa's rookie of the year campaign is that the Fever were hot ass that season. They were so bad.
So bad. Oh, they were so bad. And
Oh.
and then playing in like 3 different venues, girl.
Yeah,
It was a rough year.
when they
It was a
played,
rough
okay,
year.
so when they played at the Farmers Coliseum, at least the court was a Fever court. When they played at Butler and it was just the Butler logo, I'm like, this sucks. This is stupid.
Oh, it was bad. And I feel like I'll never forget because I went to the final home game and they gave out little bracelets. And I was like, damn, EDD is cooking the shit out of us. Like I don't even know who we got out there. It was terrible. Like we're playing on a floor that's not ours, and EDD looks like it almost feels like she's playing a college team. I don't know what's going on here.
You know, one of my favorite things about the progression of the W in the last couple years is the fact that that has happened a lot less, if at all. Like it's going back and like say that they were playing final games in other gyms with other people's logos on it. I'm like, this shit is nasty. This shit is nasty as fuck. But it's like, I mean, they had to do what they had to do, and like again, all respect to the pioneers, and you know, stuff like that makes me appreciate when the Mercury got the new court and all the like USA players like hyping up Diana, like, yeah, like girl, this you did this for us, like you kind of got us through this, and it's like, damn, 'cause y'all they were really going through some shit.
Remember when the Sparks played at what college was it? Long Beach State, and the broadcast had like shadows of the players that were
Yeah, it
so
was.
distracting.
Yeah, it was like
I will
the
say
lighting in there looked. Yeah,
I'm sure that was not practical, but I had a great time watching that game. I'm
It was
sure
like it was
I'm
so different
sure
that it was kind of cool, right? You know.
I'm sure there was some great photos taken that day. Because I'm like, damn, I know this ass for them, but this is great on my TV. The only alternate court that has ever looked good is when the Liberty played in where the hell they play at? It was like it was in a it was like 2001. It's when they played in
When they played on that stage.
yes.
Oh, and
That is the only alternate court that has ever looked good. And I would like them to do that again. And I understand why they would not. But that shit looked
The
really
Fever
cool to
played the
me.
Liberty in the outdoor game too, right? That was kind of cool.
I could take I think some preseason games in some odd courts I think would be
Yes,
really nice.
that's the way to do
I
it.
think we need to try some of that. But I think the Liberty need to play like a couple games on that stage.
I don't know about this. I feel like a very bad WNBA fan. I don't know about
No,
this.
I gotta
No, because it's a very like iconic picture. Like if you see it, I'm sure you've seen it before. I cannot think of what the stage is called though. It's like a popular theater.
Riveting podcasting is we're all silent trying to figure it out, looking it up.
Oh, they played at Radio
Oh,
City
Radio
Music
City.
Hall.
Yeah. I've heard about that. Wow, these pictures are sweet. How have I never seen? I've never seen this. I
You
feel
never
stupid.
seen that? I'm like,
No,
that picture is like super iconic.
that's sick. It should be. That's amazing. Wait, that's awesome.
I think it's
Like
like I don't know if I would ever want to like watch that, but it's actually like live. I feel like that's terrible, but it looks cool.
Would the acoustics be like incredible? Like, was it? Did it sound amazing?
I have no idea.
Yeah, none of us were there.
Wonder, though. I
Like
would
you would
not want to be there, but in theory, it looked cool.
That is cool.
Like even in hold on. Let me share my screen. Like this like a stage play. Like this is really cool.
All right, Act 1, ladies, let's go. Get out there.
Instead of quarters, you put act on the screen. Dog, we're cooking with something.
Into deep. The signs are
They
kind of
brought
cool.
the banners in. That's great.
Yeah, the banners are cool. That's a fun touch.
So yeah, this is the only acceptable alternate court. Anything else?
Every finals game 7 for the rest of time should be played there. That's my take.
There we go. Neutral site.
Yeah, that's true. If it's the Liberty, they can't do it there because it's anyone else can do it. How about that?
So, do we want to get into draft stuff? This is the is this the first team that we've done so far that actually has a top 10 pick?
That's a real pick, yeah.
Yes.
Probably.
The Fever have the 10th pick in the draft this year.
Let me see what
Um,
people are thinking.
what
Yeah.
even if it's not it doesn't have to be a specific player. What type of player do you think they should be looking at?
Great question. And they've okay, hold on. I almost just said they have no young guards. Caitlin Clark is on the Fever, to be clear. That's it. The rest of their guards that we talked about, even the ones they might keep in any expansion draft, are all more established veterans. They have Timpson. Hall's pretty young. Their front court could be younger if they keep Bibby. They'd have some youth / lesser experienced players there. I would probably be looking at depth guard. They could keep Bree Hall though. Bree Hall's kind of a guard, kind of a wing. So I would anyone who can handle the ball would be my first answer. If they lose Dantas, they could look at centers as well, but Timpson's on the team. I wonder if Timpson can play a little four. She really moves so well that I'm not thinking she'll be limited to five. We'll see if her jumper ever develops. But thinking about the draft for the first time right now as you ask me this, so you're getting me just like thinking out loud. I think anyone who can kind of handle towards the basket and actually make a defense rotate a little bit, which that's a very important skill. So that's a hard player to get at 10th, but that's kind of what I would be looking at as the Fever. I
You
wonder
know,
if their pick gets traded to like help them protect more of their players, because as we talked about, there's 8 credible players they could want to
I
protect.
I can see that too.
it's funny. I be forgetting like W players get drafted at like 22, so I'm thinking like, oh, well, like Aries a young guard, and I'm like, oh, she's 27.
5th year coming
It's
up,
like,
yeah.
That old,
um,
but like not that,
yeah.
you know.
Some of the players that some mock drafts have y'all getting at 10 if y'all decide to keep y'all pick is Gianna Neepkins,
I do like, yeah.
uh Cody McMahon,
Cody is enough.
Mm.
um
That I just feel like
Janiyah
Cody.
Barker.
No. I, no. No for me.
You
No
just
for me.
stop
No.
yourself.
Cody feels like an Cody feels like an odd fit with the core in Indiana to me.
I think I would be picking I do think I would pick a guard. I think I kind of want another scorer. I guess I'm thinking like who can be behind Kelsey Mitchell, because I do feel like that's kind of where stuff gets just a little slippery. Um, and we talked about 3 and D being kind of hard to like find and pick up. Like
Yeah.
it's a thing. But I don't know. I feel like nobody. I mean, Caitlin definitely has the ability to like slash or go to the rim. Um, and I think if she can have a Sabrina Ionescu arc, maybe not losing the shooting would be great. But otherwise,
The
we would
the
take
the
that.
in the inside the arc scoring,
The
yes,
inside
absolutely.
arc, we could get that. I would love that. But I think I want another guard that can like get to the rim. Which I think Bree Hall is a good pick that we already kind of have. She already kind of knows a little bit. She was on the bench, so she knows a little bit. So I'd be cool with like keeping her and letting her kind of find her footing because we know she can defend. She in college she could shoot, so I don't know. That should translate. I don't know. If we take a little more shots, I think it'll come. Um, and I know she can put the ball on the floor. Like I know she has that ability, even though in college it didn't seem like she was always confident in it, but like I know she can do that. So I'd definitely be willing to be like, we can keep Bree and like play with that. I do like the Neepkins pick.
Can Kiki Rice make it to 10? Is she going to be picked higher? I feel like by the end of the year, she's going to be thought of highly.
I think she's already thought of highly. I think she's at
Yeah,
the top for a lot of people.
like even more highly. UCLA is
I'm
going to be so
serious.
good.
Yeah,
I
UCLA is
do
gonna be
like they have Ashlyn Jackson going at 8, and I like that.
yeah, I like Ashley Jackson too.
I do like that.
Yeah, but then I have to like pay attention to Duke, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
I probably watch enough Duke for the both of us. It's all right.
Thank God.
She's a good selection. She's been pretty fun to watch, and like it'll be really interesting to see what I am interested in her stock because I feel like she's kind of like maybe an early second round pick right now. But they don't have their like star player, which she was their sixth woman, but she was kind of their star. She ended up going to Maryland, so I feel like now Ashley has to take on like a bigger load. So I don't know what they'll do with that. We'll see if that helps or hurt her or hurts her. We'll see about that. They also have Yarden Garzon at they have her going 8.
Anyone who transferred away from IU, please don't mention their name for the rest of our recording.
I did not understand that though. We can talk about that another time. But
That's
I was
like yeah, because
why?
she can't get NIL because of her citizenship status, right? So I was like, what are you transferring for? Why are you doing this?
Yeah, I didn't get
watching
that
IU's been great because they've always had a for sure W pick the last like 5 years, and now they don't. Like, oh boy. Oh boy.
Yep.
And they have to play Maryland twice this year. Sick. Gonna hate that.
Okay.
Are you gonna have to boo her? Oh, rip.
I'll buy tickets just to boo. I'll leave in the first quarter. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, they could credibly. It's so weird talking about the draft for like any team, really, because with free agency being so crazy, like every team could have something totally different they need, like compared to what we're talking about right now. I have no idea what all these teams are going to look like when the draft comes.
Yeah.
This is such a hard like winter and off season to project at all. Like, people ask me all the time, like, who I think is going to be back, and like I can answer the questions because they've used the same rules a lot of the time. But the CBA at the same time, and 2 expansion teams, which I think hasn't happened since what 2008, or was it even before that?
It was before that because I think 2008 they added Atlanta, but I think it had
was
been
just Atlanta
longer than
though.
that. Right,
Yeah.
it was just
Okay.
Atlanta.
So it was before.
I think before that was like 01, but they added like 4 teams probably.
Yeah, they had a bunch then. So it's like I have trouble answering when other people, not you. You guys have been fans of the league for a long time. You understand what's happening. But like a lot of people ask me about it, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what this is gonna look like. And I think teams are trying to find out. But in 4 or 5 days, when it's November and there's no CBA at all, they can't even talk about players anymore because they're not under contract with any league. So it's chaotic.
And it definitely will be chaotic too, because with the expansion, like, you might be getting some people that you didn't think would end up gone that, if Bridget Carlton isn't in Minnesota anymore, like maybe we do pick up that phone. Maybe that shooting will come back if she's in New Jersey. I don't know.
You think Minnesota has the hardest 6 to pick? Dallas is pretty hard too.
Yes.
Minnesota, I think Minnesota has 4 locks. And then after that, it gets kind of up in the air.
I agree.
Because I think if you're Minnesota, you have to protect Fee, Courtney, K-Mac, and Atlanta Smith for sure. And then you got 2 spots, and you're probably looking at you could mix and match like so many of the other options on the roster.
Yeah, because like Jess, Dorka, Natisha, any of them 3 not get saved, they will be picked up immediately. So decisions will have to be made.
I watched Jess Shepard have a triple-double without missing a shot with my own eyes, and I'm like, this is a bench player. Like, what? What? It's crazy.
That was
Dallas was
so
hard
that was,
too, but Dallas was hard not because they're good players, but because they're young and like could be good players, right? So they have
yeah,
to decide like who they believe the most in, basically, which is tricky.
a lot of ups, yeah, a lot of upside. The Jeff Shepard triple double was funny to me because Jeff Shepard was on my fantasy team. So I was like,
You ate.
I do need you to be good, but like not really right now. I actually need you to stop. We've had enough.
She was probably your team's highest score with like just her halftime score, right?
No,
Like she had
she
No,
missed it.
she
carried me that week.
unfortunately, I was the one who lost that week. So
She carried that week. So I was like, that's it for you. Always good in my book, but I really would have appreciated you to do that against my team. Thank you.
uh, our are all hearts and minds clear? Any parting words?
I
Oh.
love that. Or our hearts or minds clear. uh my closing words would be that it's still wild to me that the Fever are good. After the first 4 years I covered them, they were just god awful every year.
How is it felt to watch the basketball that you watched when you started, and then this?
Yeah, like their best lineup, I think one year was like Danielle Robinson, Kelsey Mitchell. I don't even remember who their three was that year. It was pre-Lexi. Uh, Tiffany Mitchell was playing sometimes, but she did not want to stick around. Her attitude was not the greatest for that. She played well, but it was very obvious that she was not trying to be around. Jantel Lavender was a part of their best five. Jess Breland was in there. Like a lot of like used to be's, but not currents, which feels mean to say. Like these are legendary players, but they were bad. They were just so bad, and like they weren't even like lose. They didn't go 10-28 and lose a bunch of games by three. Like they got rocked every
Yeah.
night, like
Really
completely
bad.
embarrassed. And
Really
so it was
bad.
so I felt bad because I'm like Carlos Knox and Marianne Stanley. I'm going into post game media. I'm like, what do I even say? Like I've asked you the same questions every game. It's like I picked the best young player. What'd you like from them? And like, what do you guys need to do to finally win for the first time in 4 weeks? Like it was hard. It was really weird, but I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I stuck through it because they're good now.
Hey, look, you see the rewards of the full arena. It's like I know you can probably tell them just like the difference from even like for me just 2021 going to the Fever games and they have like the blow up area for the
Oh my
kids
gosh,
and
dude,
a whole little like they had a whole family section. It
it was
was
very
kind of lit,
unserious on the
but it was
court.
it was
It was on
it
the
was
court.
right next to it. I thought it was kind of a fun touch, but it was like to see that this one season and then the next season is like, yeah, actually, no, that's gone. You know what I mean? No, the arena's full. Everyone is seated. There is no more children's section. You will not be going down to play on the slide during halftime.
They used to
Um,
do the slide after shoot around. They would
it,
all go slide before they went back to the locker room. I used to tell people like you're not gonna see the Fever win, but the deal they had that year was I think $16. You got a ticket, a hat, and a hot dog, or like a meal.
Yes, sir.
And I was like, dude,
I keep telling people that I used to go to Fever Games, spend like $20. I was basically sitting on the floor. Like I could probably throw something and get thrown out because I was the only person in the section. Like it it was a crazy experience. Was real, it was still fun, right? Like you're there watching them play, and it's basketball, but I'm like this is extremely different now. Like you don't even want to show up late now like I don't know, it's definitely the things have changed and quickly. So but I
yeah, I
always
don't
have
know.
the Indiana State Fair games. I know a lot of people hated that, but I did like the Farmers Coliseum's game with the like petting zoo in the back. It was a thing. It
A
was a
petting
time.
zoo?
It was a state fair, so like they had like yeah, like a petting zoo,
Okay.
really like.
You had to walk past from where you parked to get to the arena. You had to walk past the petting zoo. You had to walk past this big thing in Indiana called the Dairy Barn, where they sell milkshakes. It's just a big cow print farm, basically. It was It was a mess. It was
a
really
good
fun.
experience.
I thought what I liked about that is that everybody was told it was going to be cold, and then they still weren't prepared because they used it for the Indy Fuel. So it's hockey. So it's always freezing in there, and I'd tell people like, bring the layers, and then they'd come and they're in a t-shirt, and they're like, oh, it's cold in here. I'm like, yeah, you idiot, I told you. I told you. Anyway, that's so not relevant to Fever basketball, but good times.
Yeah, good times. Good times. But yeah, my mind and heart is clear.
Well, this has been another episode of Pull Up 3. I am Paragon Don.
I'm Jamae.
Hey, Trent.
And I got it right. I'm Tony East.
And we are out.